Alright guys, so today we're looking at Layla by Derek and the Dominoes, Eric Clapton. Awesome song. I covered the first part pretty well in the first video, so just reference it for the first section of the song. We're going to start off with some of the multi-layered guitar tracks that do happen after that very first part. We do have a riff at the 7th fret and the 10th fret on the middle two strings, your 3rd and 4th strings, that is basically doubling the first section of the song. In other words, it's doubling this, but we're playing it high. I'm doing a hammer on from 7 to 10 on the 4th string, and I'm going to do 7, 10, 7 on the 3rd with a hammer on, 10th fret on the 4, and then 7 on the 3. And that sustains that 7 note while you're playing. So you want to make sure and get that down, although really to be able to sustain that you would need to have a second guitar player because you can't hold that 7 while you're playing all the other chords. Alright, the next thing up is going to be the same type thing, again tripling it this time, playing at the 10th fret and the 13th fret on the first two strings. It'll sound like this, which is going to be exactly the same feel and same shape as what you're playing here in the middle of the guitar, but we're going to be playing a 10 to 13, hammer on, and then 10, 13, 10 on the first string, 13 on the second, and then 10 on the first. So good. Then we do some bends. 13th fret on the first string, full bend, to 13, 12, and we're going to do 13 and 15 with a slide on the second string. So to get that, we're going to go up. Kind of richen it up a little bit with my tone control, but you don't want too much. You don't want to go to 0, maybe turn it down to about 3. Now that's a tricky riff to get, so you want to make sure maybe set loop points here and go over this at a slow down features kicked in there, and until you really get that down. The second part of that is going to be about the same, but now we go up to the 15 for the end. Still have that 13 and 15 on our second string. So slowly this whole riff is and just repeat it. Now at the very end of that, on the studio recording, he bends that 13.5 step. In live versions, he can't do it because he has to get down to the chord work, which we're getting ready to do. A whole lot of chords to this, so I'm going to go over each one of the chords that are in this next part first, and then I'll show you how to play it slowly. Alright guys, I know I said I was going to show you the chords first, but I wanted you to hear what the part actually sounds like, so I went ahead and played it for you. So what we're doing here is we're going to be playing quite a lot of chords. All the chord charts are right there on your tab sheet, so make sure you have that printed in front of you. Starting off with a C sharp minor chord, which is basically the same shape as an A minor chord down here. On the open, it's just we're going to bring it up, so we're barring the 4th fret, and that makes a C sharp minor. So the frets are going to be 4th fret on the 1st string and the 5th. You're going to play 6th fret on the middle two strings, the 3rd and 4th strings there, and then 5th fret is going to be held on the 2nd string. That's your C sharp minor. We're going to move right over one string towards the ceiling there, the 6th string. So now we're going to be playing a G sharp minor, which is going to be everything held at the 4th fret except the 6th fret on your 4th and your 5th strings. That's G sharp minor. We're going to go right back to the C sharp minor for 4 strokes, just like what we held initially. Then we're going to shift to what's called a C7. We're actually going to be doing C7, D7, and E7. Great, because they're all the same shape. We drop back here barring the 3rd fret of the first 5 strings. We're going to be holding down the 5th fret on our 2nd and our 4th string. That shape played at the 3rd fret is your C7. Move it up 2 frets, it's D7. Move it up 2 more frets, it's E7. And that's what we're going to do for the next part. So it'll just be so So very easy. We use one shape and just go up the neck. Awesome. Once we get done with the E7, we're going to jump down here to what's called an F sharp minor. It's exactly the same as the G sharp minor that we just played, but instead of playing it at the 4th fret, we play it at the 2nd fret. So that's F sharp minor to a B. The B chord is actually holding the 4th fret of your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, 2nd fret of your 1st and your 5th strings. Although really we're not really going to play too much of the 1st string here, so it's not a big deal if you don't hold it. But that's a B chord. Then we go to the E chord, basic open E chord. Everything's open except 1st fret on the 3rd string, 2nd fret on the 4th and 5th strings. Then we play an A chord. Our A chord is the 2nd fret on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Open 1 and open 5. Back to our F sharp minor. B again. And then we play another E chord. It's going to be all the way up the neck. The 7th fret on your 5th string and your 1st string. The 9th fret on your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. All held down with the 1st section of my ring finger. So I'm going to play this slowly for you. From the top, we'll do C sharp minor, G sharp minor, C sharp minor, and then C, D, and E7, F sharp minor, B, F sharp minor, B, and then back up. Now, when you're performing this, I would recommend less gain or less distortion when you're doing the chord section that we just did here, because we had a lot of 7th chords in there and they get a little bit muddy when you use too much distortion or overdrive. When you are playing these single note lines, particularly up high, you may want to kick your tube screamer on or whatever overdrive you like. I was actually using a compressor here to kick mine up a bit. You can use a compressor for an overdrive, but you really need to use it in tandem with a noise suppressor, because it will also really raise the floor noise and then make it kind of noisy. So if you're going to use your compressor as an overdrive, make sure you use it with your noise suppressor on. So overdrive when you're playing the higher singy parts, and less overdrive when you're doing the chords, and maybe medium overdrive when you're actually doing the first part of the song. You don't really need anything but an overdriven amp to do. If you hit it with an overdrive or compressor, it'll sound like this. It's a little bit more rockin', so I might recommend that you do that. I did that here. So I was using a compressor for an overdrive when I was playing the intro riffs. When I started doing the solo type stuff, I kicked on a little bit more overdrive for that, turned down the tone control a little bit on the guitar to make it a little bit more vocal-like. And then when I was doing the actual rhythms on the chords, I backed off my overdrive and was just playing the chords pretty much straight so you could hear the detail in them. Hope you enjoyed this song. Remember, comments in the section below, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm Trent. Stay tuned. We got more cool stuff coming your way.